Why is it that most people are afraid of rituals? By ritual, I mean set of actions that you undertake with intention and with purpose repeatedly. That is what I mean by ritual. Ritual is different from Echwaja. Unless that Echwaja is ritualized. For something to be a ritual, it must be done repeatedly with repetition, either daily or multiple times daily. You understand? That makes it a ritual. Now, most people are afraid of ritual. Not being afraid as per that is scared them, but they tend to shy away from ritual. But they easily embrace Echwaja. You know, people can easily accept Kachwaja because Echwaja is something that you may just do once. Or do bakwa. Echwaja may be something you do like once in a month, like once in 3 months, like once in a year, or once in 4 days. But ritual is something you do every day or multiple times every day. Immediate this hour, next hour we make ya, next hour we make ya, next hour we make ya. More be immediate today, tomorrow we make ya. Ritual is something that is counted by day, just like just like the universe, perform that daily ritual of the sun rising and falling. I have told you, the first ritualist in this universe is the universe herself. The universe performs daily ritual. The sun rising and falling, it is a personal ritual that the universe does that maintain the life within the universe. It is actually ritual that maintain the flow of energy and life within you. Obule Echwaja. Echwaja can help you to clear your spiritual depth, but ritual help you to create your reality. That is the difference. O nwere some people ga-abịapụta ezi nwa na-edo. Ezi nwa gbara m afa. At the end of the day ka a gbasara the afa, ezi nwa will now give them ritual to do. The person will not see it that you have actually provided a solution. Maka na ihe i nyere ya bụ ritual. Ritual like maybe practice daily golf. Practice daily golf. And then maybe you may tell the person, practice daily golf for 3 months, every day, 3 months, non-stop, for 3 months, and then watch to see what becomes the impact in your life. Or do so 10. Do so 10. So hour of every day. If the person, this kind of thing, the person will not say that you are making any sense. What the person actually want to be one thing about ritual is that ritual is something you do yourself. Why aja? You can either do it yourself or someone else will help you do it. But ritual is something you do yourself. Ritual is what shapes your reality. It is by doing something repeatedly that thing becomes a habit, that thing becomes part of you and can begin to shape your reality. What gives you the most perfect result is not that aja you just do once in blue moon. No. The original thing that shapes your reality is ritual. And sometimes It is good that you develop for yourself, you suggest to yourself a ritual that will help you. Both mental ritual, emotional ritual, physical ritual. I will explain. Enwere physical ritual, enwere mental ritual, enwere emotional ritual. Mental and emotional ritual go together. Now, let me begin from the physical ritual. Physical ritual whereby you are performing the ritual with some physical materials. Maybe with orji, or with nzu, with nkwụ ọkụ, or with anything, with mmiri, with fanta, with aja na eshela aja. It have to do with physical something. And then declaration going with it. You declare, you speak out to the physical hearing, just like Otu and Sekwe now, that is physical ritual. And also physical ritual can go with specific timing. Maybe see that I will do this at every sunrise. When the sun is rising in the morning, maybe around that kind 6:30, 7:30, 8, that you do it. Physical ritual go with the timing, specific timing. Or you tell yourself that I'm going to do this at 12 noon, or 3 in the afternoon, 3 p.m., or I'm going to do this at midnight. Physical ritual can go with specific timing. Then there is mental ritual. Mental ritual is holding an image in your mind repeatedly, consistently. You know that a lot of thoughts come and go in your mind every second. Too many thoughts come and go every second in your mind. But then you consciously, deliberately, out of your free will, decide to hold a particular thought. Of course, you know that thought deals with images. If you are thinking in images. Thinking means that there are some flashes of images in the screen of your mind. That is thought. That is imagination. You understand? So you now choose out of so many thoughts that buzzle, the hustle and bustles of thoughts in your mind, you decide that I'm going to hold certain thought consciously. You will consciously call it back to your mind screen and dwell on it. You understand? And then you do this repeatedly with repetition. That is mental ritual. Mental ritual. For example, someone holding the image or the thought of their desire in their mind. Okay, for instance, you desire to own a car. And then in your mental ritual, you form an image of the car you want. You form an image of seeing yourself holding the key of the car. You form an image of seeing yourself driving that car. All these things are happening in your mental world. That is mental ritual. And these images you are forming, you repeat them. You can repeat them several times in a day. You can repeat them several times because the thought will not be there permanent until you make it to be permanent. You make it to a permanent by consistency. You deliberately, willingly, out of your own decision, from time to time, you call back, intentionally, you call back that particular image of seeing yourself with the car keys, with yourself driving the car, with the car parked in your compound. You see, that is what I mean by mental ritual. You do this several times daily. Mental image may not be time-bound. It may not be time-bound. It is a deliberate act of reminding yourself of that thought. And then you bring it up. You can be doing it without the person by your side knowing what you are doing. You can be in an occasion where people are making noise and be doing this mental ritual. But physical ritual would demand that you will exclude yourself to certain place, certain time. You understand? Now, there is emotional ritual. Emotional ritual is whereby that's your mental ritual. That's why I say emotional and the mental ritual go together. That thing you are thinking in your mind, that your desire you are thinking, you now begin to feel it. That is, it becomes emotionally charged. Just like the example we are using, your desire is that you want to own a car. Now, you have been thinking about the car. You are not thinking about the car as something you will have in the future. No, you are thinking about it as something you already have. The the images you are holding in your mind about that your desire is something already happening. You are seeing yourself in your mental image holding the car key. So it is actually something already present. You are seeing yourself in your mental image already driving the car. So it is something that's actually alive, present. So you are not seeing it as something that will happen in the future. And because of that, the corresponding feeling of having that particular desire will begin to arouse within you naturally. You begin to feel that, oh, I have this car already. Despite that you are in your mental world. The mental world is actually real. And then you repeat this ritual each time that image come, that each time you intentionally bring up that thought in your mind, the feeling, you allow the feeling to flow natural that this is actually something I already possess. That is what I mean by emotional ritual. You feel it. The thought become emotionally charged. You understand? So you now know the difference between physical ritual, mental ritual, and emotional ritual. And let me tell you, if these three rituals, now them be the game changer for human life. Not a charge. Now them be the original game changer. Both the physical ritual, the mental ritual, the emotional ritual, especially when you are able to combine the three at once. That is, when you are on your emotional, you're in your physical ritual, you accompany it with your thoughts of your desire. You accompany it also with the corresponding emotional feeling that go with it. If for this ritual, if you are able to be consistent with it, ritual is something you do consistently. That is what makes it a ritual. Ritual is something you do repeatedly. So that your thought, repeat it repeatedly, several times daily. That your physical ritual, repeat it every day. That your emotional ritual, repeat it every day. And if they are incoherence, that is, what the physical ritual desire is what the mental ritual desire is what the emotional ritual desire. One, if you are able to achieve this, that particular desire of yours, it no go there, it go manifest. Speedy manifestation. Rituals are actually the real original game changer. Ọ bụla ịchụ aja ị nwere ike ime once, ọ dụakwazịa. The only thing ịchụ aja na-eme bụ na ịchụ aja ga-enyere gị aka to offset your spiritual debt. Mana agbara m on that na ịchụ aja does not create the reality you want. Ịchụ aja does not. Ịchụ aja bụ ka akwụọ ụgwọ eji to settle your spiritual debt. If you want to create the reality that you want, it is through ritual. True rituals. And they form the habit of suggesting to yourself to your mind, to your emotions, to your physical activity, the necessary ritual that correspond with your desire. Don't always wait for Dibia or someone to suggest for you. Suggest by yourself. Let it flow from your spirit. Mana somebody ga-abịakwute dibia na chọrọ ịgba afa, dibia agbara ya afa. Nye ya obere ritual. Just do this ritual every day for like 3 months or 6 months. Just do it. The person will be seeing it like, Ezinma, you have not given me solution to my problem. Solution ọ na-ekwu okwu ya bụ mgbe a ya agwụ ya mgba bute ego, wete hundreds of thousands ka e wee kpaa aja mmiri, ka e wee nye Chineke, ka e wee mee agwụ, ka e wee mee iyi ụwa, ka e wee mee ndị otu, ka e wee mee ịmago. That is what the person is expecting. Asọkwa m na ịchụ aja adọrọ mma, ịchụ aja dị mkpa, ọ na-adị mma. Maka na site na ịchụ aja ka ị esi welu na-eclearsi your path, your spiritual depth. Ma ibupụsị ụmụ obstacles nọ on the way. Ọ site na ịchụ aja. Mana ka ị na-achụ aja nwanne, back your life up with rituals. Rituals. Both physical rituals, mental rituals, emotional rituals. So don't swear. If you actually want your life to change. So when you come to a dibia like Ezinma Anedo, Ezinma Anedo is not your kind of regular kind of dibia. Ezinma Anedo dibia ya ibiakwute kọchara ya mkpa gị. Ezinma nwere ike nye gị ofu assignment. Ị ga na-emeri ya onwe gị. Ezinma nwere ike gba gị that every 1 o'clock in the midnight, teta mee ihe dị otu a, mee ihe dị otu a. Do it every day for like 7 days. That is the kind of dibia Ezinma is. Coming to Ezinma Anedo for ịgba afa, ị ga-adịkwa ready for work. You should be ready for rituals that I will suggest to you. It is not just about ka m gbara gị afa ka i butere m ego ka m mewere gị. Nke ahụ na-adịkwa mma o. Mana m bụrụ gị, dibia gbagodoro gị afa sị gị nye ya ego ka emere gị ihe dị otu a, mere gị ihe dị otu a. Try to, in fact, live a life of ritual. Unless it's come on, you don't have anything that you desire. You don't have any desire in life. But if you have a desire, it is through ritual that you are going to manifest that your desire. Ọ bụrụ site na ịchụ aja. Agbara m na Ezinma anaghị achụ aja ka mmụọ wee mere ya anything. Aja na-achụ basically to offset any debt nji mmụọ. So that when I am now creating my desire through rituals that I do myself, onweghị ndị mmụọ ga-abịa gbochiri m ụzọ. Onweghị anything ọbụla ga-abịa bụrụ obstacle. No one never perform the ritual, both physical ritual, mental ritual, emotional ritual. My desire na-apụta m ife ozugbo ana m afịa. That is the reason nji achụ aja. Ka m gbaa mbọ fụ na onweghị ndị mmụọ ọbụla nwere ike kwuchiri m ụzọ to manifest my desire. But as per the aja na onwe ya na-achụnyere mmụọ nwanne, ọ bụla ya na manifest anything. Ọ bụla ya na-create my desire. No. You create your desires through rituals. Rituals are more powerful than aja. O nwere ike na-achụ aja niile ya na-achụ. Onye na-perform ritual, be consistent with ritual, we render your aja useless. O nwere ike na-agwọ ọgwụ ya na-agwọ. Somebody dey consistent with ritual, ya eji ritual render ọgwụ ahụ ya na-agwọ to nothing. A man na ritual and aja and ịgwọ ọgwụ abụlọ nwa anya ha abụlọ ọgbọ. They no be mate. Ritual bụ nyawa na-eru this world anyị nọ na ya. Ekwugo m ya. Ritual ọnwụ nya na-eru ụwa anyị nọ na ya. People change their life by rituals, not by aja, not by ịgwọ ọgwụ. You change your life, your reality through rituals. Because the ritual require discipline. It takes discipline for someone to do one thing repeatedly, intentionally. Every time you remind yourself about it and you do it mentally, emotionally, and even physically. It calls for discipline. Onye want discipline anaghị eme ritual. Our generation lack discipline. That is why I recommend the alum mad ritual. The person na-afụti ya no nothing. They lack the discipline. Ritual will always draw you back to yourself. That is one thing about ritual. Like in that age, who I am. I want to know who I am. If you want to know yourself, if you want to know who you are, become a ritual. Ritual will always draw your attention back to yourself. Because you can't be looking for yourself outside. So anything at all that always draw you back to yourself is actually helping you to know yourself. Aja nwere ike ime ifụla aja. Onwe ha aja ịchọrọ n'ụwa that can make you to know yourself. It is only ritual. Because ritual always direct attention to yourself. For example, you are performing mental ritual. Mental ritual is about self-consciousness. In something like this, you are in the midst of people making noise, and all of a sudden you draw attention back to yourself because of an image, a thought that you are holding back to yourself. And the sheta, where attention go, energy flow along with it. Once you always draw attention to yourself, you always direct energy to yourself. If you want to know yourself, if you want to actually change yourself, your life, your reality, one day ritual. If you want to be powerful, ritual is what you need. Obule echu aja. Ina achukwa di aja o. Aso kwa nga achuzi na aja. Agwa ngene echu aja is very important. It helps you to clear your path, your spiritual depth and whatever. So I kwa na enwe na mmụọ ya bịa na adọ gị n'akpa. Ị na-aghọta? But echucha aja nwanne mgbe a ka ị ga-anọrụzi. Bidozie create bezie your reality. Aja ịchụrụ does not create your reality. It is ritual that creates your reality. Know it today. Ekenekwa ya mọnụ. So ela ya na nkwasara ka every nkwa na obi anyị. So ekwaziela ya na our monthly rituals. Chat me on WhatsApp on 08032477868. My name is Ezinwa Anedo. I come for the total restoration of ordinary no men and neighbor.